sometimes there are funny things on Facebook, and I saw something that I think is really funny, and I'm gonna talk about that. Okay, now some of you may not think it's funny, but I think it's really funny. Yeah, I keep saying that. I'm trying to I'm trying to um segue into the topic here. Uh, there's an older Rosebud guy. He's a Lakota guy, Sicangu Lakota from the Rosebud Sioux Reservation. This guy is older than me. Okay, he's probably in his early 60s, um, and uh, he wrote us. He's kind of he's okay, but I've seen some of his posts, and he's kind of judgmental. Yeah, is always got something to complain about. He hardly ever writes about anything good. He seems to be complaining about everything, and so this is it he like for example, he'll say something, and then he asks on his timeline. He says, "So what do you guys think? What are your guys' thoughts?" He'll say, and then as people write their opinions, their um, he kind of attacks it, because if the opinions do not agree with him, then he attacks it. Yeah. So it's like, why even ask? Because he's just gonna attack anybody who disagrees with him. This is not the Lakota way. In the Lakota way, you you can disagree and be respectful to each other. Yeah, you can still have peace even if you're disagreeing on something. You can still establish peace with another person. Okay, that's the traditional way. Because see, a lot of people do not understand what respect means. A lot of people will say, "Well, yeah, that guy he's a hero. He earned my respect." See, some people talk like that, and this is shows this shows you that that person does not know what respect means. Respect is basically that everybody has a right to believe whatever they want to. Yeah, like Cherie, for example, her and I, um, we agree on a lot of things, but there's some things we disagree on, but we don't go to war over it. Yeah, and because she has a right to think the way she wants to, just like me. So I don't try to change her, and she doesn't do that to me either. Yeah, we accept that we think a certain way, and that's just the way it is. No, nothing bad about that. Yeah, because usually when Cherie and I disagree on something, it's really minor. It's not something big. Yeah, like she likes to listen to Louis Armstrong records, and I'm like, gee, that's old people's music. Hey. No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm just kidding. No, but um you can this is the beauty of it, yeah? That you can disagree on some things as long as it's not the end of the world, you know? You can still be really close to one another. Cuz sometimes, that's just the way it is. Yeah, like that's why in some couples, maybe one partner likes to watch certain kind of movies, and the other one likes to watch different kind of movies. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, when you're in a relationship with somebody, that doesn't mean you have to both like the same exact things. Yeah, we can have differences. Like Cherie, she likes to jig. Yeah, what them Métis Indians do in Canada. They with this jigging that they do. Cherie is the expert on that. And me, I'm a polka freak. And we still get along. I'm just kidding. Cherie sending me all kinds of mean things here on the Facebook Messenger, so I better behave. Shoot. Anyway, I'm just teasing. Oh gosh. Anyway, but see, we can be different in certain areas of our lives and still respect one another. Yeah, like for example, I can't eat fish, and Cherie, she lives by the sea. This this woman was born by the sea. Yeah, she's a seaside woman. She loves seafood. She's a fish woman. She likes to eat fish. Yeah, and I can't stand that. But we still get along just fine and dandy. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Not a problem at all. See, we can have differences and still be really tight with each other. You see what I mean? You don't have to, be exactly the same because, geez, it's going to be a boring relationship. If you're with somebody that, everything is exactly the same, eventually that's going to get really boring. Or what that means is one person is totally converting to the other one's likes and dislikes. That's called codependency. That is not love. When people say, let's breathe at the same time, this is codependency. That's not love. Okay? And that's disrespect. Yeah, because if one person is disrespecting themselves. And whatever you do to yourself, that's the same way you are to others. So if you disrespect yourself, that means you disrespect others too. Because reality begins within. I'll explain that concept a little bit later. But respect means that people can believe whatever they want to believe as long as they don't force it down each other's throats and try to convert the other one by saying, "Hey, I'm right and you're wrong if you disagree with me. And if you don't agree with me, then I must destroy you." And that leads to something called duality. Yeah, where um, it's always just this or that, and one person says, "Well, everything that I believe is good, and my skin color is the best skin color, my culture is the best culture, and my belief system is the only true belief system. So, and if you don't agree with me, then you're evil, and you're not good enough, and you're not as smart as me." See, it's a this and that situation where that builds the tendency to want to say one of the sides is good and the other one is bad. This is a man's way of thinking. This is man made. This is not nature. And since it's only comprised of two components, that's why it's called duality. Okay? And like I said, in that way of thinking, the tendency is to, people to label themselves as good, and anybody they disagree with, they say they're bad. And those guys are doing the same thing too, though. Yeah, the others, they're doing the same thing too. And then they build their own religions and go to war over it and all this kind of nonsense. That's the root of duality. So what duality creates is like something called paternalism, where you think you know what's right for everybody. And it also creates ethnocentrism, where you judge other cultures by your culture standards. And that leads to another product, which is racism. And then dogma, which is my way is the only way. These are the four products of duality. And what's also included with this way of thinking is linear thinking. Linear thinking is when you only think in one direction, and that when you think like that, again, you say that the further you are, the better you are. So that means everybody behind you is not as good as you. So again, you have this us against them thinking, and that also nurtures duality because you think only in one direction. Yeah, and in Lakota ancient knowledge, it's non-linear. Non-linear is, yes, some things do go in one direction. Yes, that is true. Okay, but not everything. For example, when we come to peace with our past, we can always visit it anytime we want and learn something new. The reason why is because when you live a healthy life, the more that you do this, the more that you see of reality. So that's why it's always good to look in your past. That's why it's important to be at peace with your past. So when you look at it, years later, you look at it and you say, oh, I didn't see that before. See, because you're able to see more now. So this is how you can learn from your past over and over and over and over. Then you bring that information to your present moment to help you in your life right now. That's an example of nonlinear. You went in the past and you brought something from there that you learned to help you now. And likewise, you can jump forward into the future in your mind by visualizing how you would like things to be. Like me, one of my visualizations is speaking French fluently. This is something I do a French lesson every day, about an hour, yeah? An hour of French every day. And but still, je ne comprends pas. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Je ne comprends pas français. Shucks. No, I'm just kidding. I understand a little bit. Oh gosh, but that I was trying to say I don't understand French. Still, I don't understand it. No, I understand a little bit. It's just a tiny little bit, but it's building. Yeah, my vocabulary is building. I'm doing this every day for an hour, and it's really building, and I really feel good about that. So I take some time every day and I visualize in the future being able to speak French fluently, and this is a goal of mine. It is a realistic goal. So I take some time in the day and I pretend I'm in the future, and I pretend that I'm speaking French fluently, even though I don't know any that much. I still visualize that I do know that much. Okay, So now, excuse me, when I do that, then I do that for a few moments, okay? And then I come back to the present moment. Now, that process brings something from the future. Yeah, it brings an energy from the future. And then that energy helps you with the present moment. So what this visualization is doing is it's helping me now in the present moment with this language. So the sounds they're not so difficult for me. Yeah, Cherise really thinks that I'm not going to get all the sounds, but I think I got a lot of it. And, it's not that hard. It's just one sound that's a little bit difficult for me. But everything else has not been a problem. But it's working. Yeah, it is working. And so this is an example of jumping forward in time. Yeah, kind of like in the future. And then when you do that, that 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 brings something back. It brings an energy from the future back into your mind, and that's going to help you in your present moment to accomplish your goal. That's nonlinear too, because you jumped forward and you brought something back from the future to the present moment that'll help you to receive inspiration, that will guide you, that makes things, you know, to happen for you, to achieve that, whatever your goal is. So this is an example of nonlinear. It can go in the past, it can go in the future, but you bring that back to the present moment. That's nonlinear. And in this nonlinear way, there is no good versus evil. Instead, what you have is learning from difficulty in a healthy way to enjoy blessings. That's how you come to peace with your past. That when difficulties come, you don't see them as bad. They may scare you, they may make you angry, they may make you sad or disappoint you, but you do something to release that emotion, you do something healthy to do that, then you bring your mind in and you start making the best of the situation and you start learning from it. This nurtures the peace inside of you, and plus you gain wisdom and knowledge when you do that. And those are blessings. So difficulties are seen as a time to learn. No matter how hard they are, how difficult they are, you can still learn from it. Then it becomes a blessing experience. So this is why we don't see them as bad. And when you live like this, you're not falling off the healthy road. You're just taking a rest to learn something. And as you start to learn, you're moving on that path again, even though you don't feel it at first. You are moving again, and then eventually you start to see that you've moved. That's a beautiful thing. And so in the ancient way, there is no good versus evil. And the ancient way says there's at least three perspectives. In duality, there's only two. And in duality, the tendency is to say one side is good and the other one is bad, and everybody becomes closed-minded and judgmental. Because they say, well, this is what I think, and then if you don't agree with me, then you're wrong. Yeah, that's duality. But the ancient way is okay. You can think that way. I disagree with it, but that doesn't mean you're wrong, and it doesn't mean I'm right. I just think a different way. That's all, and that's cool. Yeah, maybe that works for you, but this works for me. And then you say, okay. The other person says, okay, that's cool. We just agree to disagree. That's fine. and you still have peace. This is respect. Yeah? That means you respect everybody. Respect is given. Because if you cannot respect somebody, you don't respect yourself. Now, again, respect does not mean that you agree. Respect means you allow people to think the way they want to, and still, you can agree to disagree. If you don't agree with them, you can agree to disagree and say, okay, that's cool. You can, maybe that works for you, but this way works for me. And both of you say, okay, that's fine. We just agree to disagree, and we can still have peace. Let's go have a let's go to McDonald's. Okay. So they go prancing to McDonald's. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? In the ancient way, we're taught to respect your enemy, because your enemy, he breathes air too. He drinks the same water you drink. The sun shines on him just like it shines on you. Both of you breathe the same air. So even though you may be enemies, you still respect each other. But when you break that respect, that's a crime to both sides. Yeah, it's a crime to both sides, and that's a serious, serious thing. Yeah. So this is this is respect. There's a lot of people don't understand what that means because of the movies and music, and especially this gangster rap hip hop shit that young people listen to, where in the lyrics people are saying, you gotta show me respect or I'm gonna kill you or whatever. Yeah, that's not respect. That's oppression. That is not respect. Respect does not mean you agree. Respect is given. People confuse this with trust and honor. Those are two different things. A lot of times people will say respect and honor are the same thing. They go hand in hand. No, 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 hell no. They do not. They are not the same thing. Honor is earned, and so is trust. You don't uh, you don't just if let me say it like this. I met a German girl, and what was her name? Danielle. Every Daniela I meet is kind of crazy. I know a lot of German speaking Danielas, and every one of them is kind of messed up in the head. I wonder if it's the name. Seriously, every time I meet somebody named Daniela in the German-speaking countries, they turn out to be just kind of crazy. And for guys, it's Andreas. Yeah, every Andreas that I have met in Germany and Switzerland and Austria has always been kind of. I've always had bad experiences with guys named Andreas and girls named Daniela. It's crazy, yeah, it's how that is. But anyway, I met this gal. Her name was Daniela. She's from West Germany, and she seemed to be nice at first. And then she said that, yeah, David, I trust everybody 100% until they break it. And I was like, that, my friends, is what you call codependency. Yeah, that is codependency. Trust is earned by getting to know somebody. You take the time to get to know them so you see if they're really a nice person or not. Trust develops over time. It's crucial for friendship, especially relationships. Without trust, you have nothing. But trust is earned, and so is honor. But respect is given. That's different. Okay? So I need to kind of point those out right away. Okay, so now I explained to you what duality is. I explained to you the ancient way, which says there's at least three perspectives to everything. Most of the time there's four, and many times there's more than four. But there is never just two. Okay? It's man who creates the two perspective way of duality. That's a learned behavior. Okay? Which it means it can be unlearned. So, in the ancient way, I told you what that is. But today, most Indians are dualistic. And later in the show, I will explain to you how this happened. I will explain to you how most Indian people today are dualistic. Most Indian people today, they believe in good versus evil. Our ancestors never believed in that. Today, Indians believe in a God, a one God concept. Our ancestors never believed in that. Today, Indians believe in a native version of heaven called the happy hunting grounds. Our ancestors never believed in that. Yeah, they never believed in that. With their ancestors, it's reincarnation. There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is no God. There is no Satan. There are no angels. There are no demons. Yeah? Because the universe was created on more than just two things. Okay? So so this is so that today's Indians are very dualistic. This is how you can tell the difference between an ancient thinking Indian and a dualistic Indian. Is you ask them about smudging. Ask them what does that mean to smudge. For those of you that don't know what smudging is, that's when you burn sage and the smoke of the of you push the smoke over your body. This is this is smudging. Now, ask an Indian what that means. If the Indian says is to drive away evil spirits, that's a dualistic Indian. That's not a traditional. An ancient thinking Indian is going to say it's to calm you down, it's to influence peaceful way of thinking and feeling, to clear your mind, to neutralize anything that may be bothering you. They don't say destroy. It's to help you to clear your mind so that you can think, yeah, and to calm down and to relax so that things in your body can flow. So you can receive inspiration and blessing. That's what an ancient thinking Indian says. And not many Indians say that. Most Indians say, well, we smudge so that the evil spirits will stay away. There are no evil spirits. Yeah? This is this is that's all that comes from duality. This thinking of good versus evil. That's all man made. Okay? So Indians today think like that. They're very dualistic. How did this happen? How did we convert from the ancient way of thinking of at least three perspectives and transform into a different way of thinking where there's only two perspectives and now we believe in good versus evil? How did we get from there to there? Because what's happening is we moved from healthy to unhealthy. How did that happen? I'll explain that a little bit later, okay? Because this everybody needs to know that. Because there's a lot of Indians that don't even realize this happened because they're living in a historical denial. And America wants that. They don't want us to know, okay? And I'll explain that later. But the fact is that most Indians today are very dualistic. Now, let me come to this thing I wanted to introduce to you. Yeah, this what I saw on Facebook. Okay, again, this is a guy from the Rosebud Sioux Reservation, which is where my father's from. Okay, my last name, Little Elk. It's a Sicangu Lakota name from Rosebud. That's my father's from my father's side. Anyway, this guy, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to shame him out. Okay, um, but he said something on his timeline, and there were some people who disagreed with him, and he started to attack them. And it just shows you his dualistic tendency that if you don't agree with him, he will attack you. Yeah. So this is what he said. Remember, this guy is probably in his early 60s. He's 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 a bit older than me. Okay, so he's probably in his early 60s, and he said that he was in some community and he saw a woman in her 60s and she had hickeys on her neck. Okay, for those of you that don't know what hickeys are, because there's some people who don't, they don't know this word, and this is the English word, and there are people in Europe that they know what it is, they just don't know the word hickey. Okay, it's when people suck on each other's necks, and it's like to bruise the skin, so there's like a blood, all the blood gathers in that spot. That's supposed to be romantic. I don't think it. I don't think it. I don't think it looks good at all. Yeah, myself, I think it's stupid. Teenagers do this a lot. Yeah, and me, I think it's ugly myself. Even when I was in high school, I always thought this was ugly. Yeah, I never liked this getting hickeys or giving hickeys. I never liked that. Never. That's just the way I am. I just think it looks ugly. Yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. Okay? Now remember, I never said that hickeys are bad. I never said that. I never said hickeys are evil. Okay? I never said that. All I said is that I don't like it. I think it looks stupid. No matter how old you are, I think it looks stupid. It's to me, it's it's ridiculous, but it's also funny. Yeah, for me, it's funny to see. I myself, I don't like it on me. I never did like hickeys. Okay, um, but other people, this it's the thing to do. Yeah. Excuse me. Um, but me, I never liked this. It's just not my thing. And but he said this guy, like I said, he's over 60 years old. and he saw a woman also in her 60s, and she had hickeys all over her neck. And he said, "That's disgusting." He said that old people should know better. He said. He said, "What do you guys think?" He said, "I think that's just wrong." He said, and he said, "What?" But he said, "What do you guys think?" This is what he asked on his timeline. Some people agree with him. Okay. Some people are saying, "Ooh, gross! A 60-year-old woman with hickeys." They're all saying that. But you know what? That's a different world today. Yeah. Um, here in Berlin, uh, this is a major, major world city. It's very cosmopolitan. Many, many cultures in this city. Okay? And sometimes I might meet somebody who will be in their 60s, but they don't look like it. Yeah? They don't look like they're in their 60s. They look younger than they really are, and they really have nice bodies because they take care of themselves. And these are not like the 60-year-old people when we were little boys. Yeah, when we were little children and we saw somebody who was 60, oh geez, they're already wrinkly and everything. But today it's not that way. Today people are in their 60s, they don't even have that many wrinkles because we eat better, yeah. We do more things, we're more free in our thinking, and this all affects our body. So there are people who are in their 60s that are sexier than hell. No joke. Yeah, no joke. And this, I think, what this guy was saying was very dualistic, and because he said, "Oh, I saw this woman in her 60s, and she had hickeys all over her neck, and I think that's just disgusting. What do you guys think?" He wants people to validate him. This is a really big sign of low self esteem. When you see something you disagree with, a lot of times it's because you're jealous. Yeah? A lot of times it's because of jealousy. And then people attack it. And then they say, "Do you know what I saw? I saw this, and I think it's just ugly. What do you guys think?" And he wants people to validate him. This is low self esteem. It's inferiority complex, it's emotional insecurity, it's emotional um, lack of emotional development. Yeah? So this is immature. This is close minded thinking, and this is how you are when you're dualistic. So just because he saw something that he didn't like, so what? Why did he have to post it on Facebook so to get people to validate his insecurity? Why did he do that? Because he has an inferiority complex. Yeah? That means he's emotionally insecure. He has insecurities. He's not secure with himself. Yeah? Now, there were some women who responded to him really good. Yeah? there was one woman who said, she said, I'm 42 years old. She said, oh no, no, she's older now. She said, when I had my last son, she said, I was 42 years old. Everybody around me told me I was too old to be having babies. I didn't care. She said, as long as I knew that I could have a child, I was happy. She said, yes, I was 42 years old when my son was born, but I was happy. And now he's a young man, and he's healthy. There's nothing wrong with him. And I, since I was older, I was more calm and more able to handle children, because you look at these young girls who are having babies. They have no patience. They have no knowledge of how to be a mother. They don't know shit, and they end up fucking up their kids emotionally and mentally. Yeah. But here you had this Lakota lady who was 42 when she had her son, and she didn't see anything wrong with it. All her people in her family told her that was bad, that she should have had an abortion. They were saying, "You're too old." And she said, "I didn't listen to them because this is what I wanted," she said. And she said, "I'm thankful I never listened to those people, because my son means everything to me, and every my life has been so much fulfilled and blessed because of my son," she said. So I don't think we have the right to judge other people just because we disagree with them. We don't have the right to judge them. And I thought that was the best answer. Yeah, that was the best answer. And it kind of shut him up. Yeah. And another girl said, "Wow." She said, I hope I'm still getting that when I'm that age," she said. And so then this guy from Rosebud, he comes back and he says, "Well, I think it's just disgusting. She has a boyfriend that's way younger than her. What's wrong with that?" Yeah, what's wrong with a woman having a young boyfriend? I don't see anything wrong with that. When guys have girlfriends that are 20, 30, 40 years younger than them, all the men say, "Hey, way to go, man." They all pat him on the back. "You're the man." But when it's the other way around, suddenly it's disgusting. Why is that? Because that's duality. Men, mostly in this Western world, are dualistic. Yeah. In my life, I've met several women who have younger boyfriends, and they're really happy. They don't seem to have an age. They're timeless. They're timeless people. They're not dualistic. They're non linear thinkers. Age is just a number. That doesn't mean shit. What really means something is your emotional age. You can be with somebody the same age as you, but that other person might be light years ahead of you because they're more emotionally balanced than you are. Just because you're the same age does not mean your relationship is going to be successful. And I had a good friend here in Berlin where the girl, I shouldn't say the girl, she's a woman. The woman She married a guy that was 42 years older than her, and they knew, that when he gets really old, there will be problems. She accepted that. She said, "I'm in love now, and I want to enjoy this relationship now. When that difficult time comes, we will deal with it when it arrives. But right now, I love you and I want to be with you. And when the time comes when age affects you, I will take care of you because I love you." And that's probably one of the most beautiful couples I ever met in my life. And I was there when he left. It was sad to see somebody go, but at the same time, she was like, she already accepted this. Yeah? She was already coming to peace with this. And she said, "This was the greatest love I've ever had in my life. And I'm so thankful that I met this man," she said. "My life is so much better because of this man. I'm going to miss him, but we had 30 good years," she said. Not 30, 20 good years, she said. "Every day was magical. Most people never have that. They were timeless. When I got to know the man, that was a cool guy." When he died, he was in his 90s. He was almost 100 years old. He was a cool guy. And that's one, my life is so much more enriched because of that man and what I learned from him about life. "David, don't think about what others think about you," he said. "Live your life the way you want to live. Don't worry about what others think. You can do whatever you want to do. You have a healthy mind, you have a healthy body, you live, you enjoy your life. You do it. Don't let others guide you. You live the way you want to live, and you will be happy. You will go through some difficulties, but we all go through difficulties. Difficulties is a part of life." He said that him and his wife, they had some difficulties when their marriage first started, but they worked through it. And after they worked through it, they were deeper in love with each other. His family were telling him, "Oh, you're crazy chasing after this 21-year-old girl." And he said, "She's not 21. Maybe that's what her birth certificate is saying, but in her mind and in her heart, we are the same," he said. This was a non-linear thinker, and she was too. She is, I should say, because she's still alive. She's a non-linear thinker too. That's where it's important. So age doesn't mean a goddamn thing. What means everything is inside of you. How are you? Because some people can be 65 years old, but they're still 13 years old. Emotionally. Mentally, maybe they're 65 years old too, but emotionally, they're still 13 years old. and they wonder why they keep fucking up all the time because they're in an emotional denial. So they have never developed. They're linear thinkers. But people who are emotionally developed are non-linear thinkers. This is how I am. This is why I have friends who are all kinds of ages. Yeah, like this guy who was almost 100 years old, who's a good friend of mine. And I have friends who are in their 20s and 30s. They're all they're all non-linear people. They're all timeless. Uh, we don't even see age. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah? So, who are we to judge other people? Yeah? So, uh, this getting back to this guy from Rosebud who was trying to put down this Lakota lady that was in her 60s for having hickeys on her neck. Another lady said that her dad was uh, 79 years old, and before before he died, him and his wife were still very sexually active. And here she gave him a hickey, yeah, and a couple days. See, a hickey is it'll stay on your neck for 4 or 5 days, yeah. And 2 days afterwards, he died. He passed on. So his family, they thought it was cool. He was laying in there in his casket and he had hickeys all over his neck. They thought it was cool. So, so this lady was saying, "Shit, man, my dad is a number one stud." She said. So you see the different ways of thinking, and I really like that response. And then this Rosebud guy comes back and he says, "Old people shouldn't be doing that. Just that's what teenagers do." You see the linear thinking in the Rosebud guy. He's saying that when you're in your 60s, you shouldn't be doing those kind of things. So, according to him, when you're in your 60s, I guess that means you're supposed to be wearing old people clothes and walking around with a cane and all bent over. This is this is his expectation. See, that's closed-minded thinking. He's trying to tell people that old people should be acting a certain way. That's duality. By saying, okay, when you're this age, you should be doing this. When you're this age, you should be doing that. See, that's not true. People progress differently because they have different learning styles. Some people, their minds can just really they can really comprehend more than others in the same age. So when you look at a class of students, for example, all in the same age, you might have a genius in there, and you might have somebody who's a slow learner. Does that mean the genius is better? No, it does not. Does that mean the genius is smarter? Absolutely not. It just means the genius is able to comprehend more, but that does not make him or her better. Okay? The slow learner, does that mean he's dumb? No. It just means it takes him a little while. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of us learn fast, Some of us learn slow. That's okay. It's different learning styles. A good teacher can adapt to each student. Yeah? A bad teacher is going to say, well, this guy is straight A student, so he's better. He's the best one. This kid over here, god damn, that kid's dumber than shit. So I'm gonna flunk him. Make him repeat that year. Yeah? This is a bad teacher. Because that teacher is saying that the smarter you are, the better you are. That's linear thinking. That's duality. So if you're the dumber you are, the worse you are. That's linear thinking. Only thinking in one direction. A good teacher is nonlinear. A good teacher will say, "Well, this kid is wow, this is a genius. So I have this kid doing more work to give this kid a challenge. Otherwise, that child will become bored. So I need to keep that child busy. So that child will be doing more work. And then the one who learns slow will have some assistance to help that child to keep in pace that it's comfortable with. But it does not mean one child is better than the other. It does not mean that at all. Okay? So again, excuse me, this Rosebud guy, he's a linear thinker because he's saying that a woman in her 60s should not be doing this. That's what he's saying. That's linear thinking. Who are we to judge others? Because we are all different. We're not the same. Yeah? We're not the same. And this lady who has hickeys on her neck and has a younger boyfriend, more power to her. Yeah? Another lady wrote on this timeline. She said that people who judge others are really shortening their lives because they spend so much of their time focusing on others that they totally miss out on experiences that are happening right in their own lives. So they're losing time by because they take great pleasure in judging others. They're actually shortening their life. I think that's really sad. And this lady said, she's 60 years old, has hickeys, and has a younger boyfriend. So what? More power to her. I hope I'm that way when I'm that age. Yeah. And she also said something like, uh, good for her. But we don't have the right to judge others, and we should be, spending our time doing useful things like protecting the water instead of bitching around about an older woman who has hickeys on her neck. And I thought, oh, she just kicked this guy in the ass, man. She kicked this guy in the cojones. She got him good. Yeah, she really got him good. And other ladies were saying the same thing. So most of the ladies that were writing on his timeline, they were they were saying this, hey, so what? If you don't like it, keep your opinions to yourself and move on. But to bring it on Facebook, all you're doing is making that woman famous. That's all you're really doing. You're promoting her. You're making her famous. That's all you're doing. Yeah? That you're not doing anything good. All you're doing is bitching and moaning, but your bitching and moaning is making that woman famous. So she don't you're giving her a promotion and she doesn't even have to pay you. So these women really got him, yeah? They really got him good. And I just wanted to talk about this because it shows you that Indians are dualistic, especially the men. Especially Indian men are really dualistic. And this is a really good example, yeah, of a Lakota guy, you know, saying, "Oh, I saw this and oh, that was just disgusting. What do you think?" Yeah, and one girl said, "Shit, are you jealous?" Yeah, maybe many years ago, maybe this woman turned him down, and so now he's looking, any way to attack her just because maybe 30 years ago she turned him down, and so he has this grudge. That's still dualistic thinking. That means he's not at peace with it. Now, this is the last thing I'll say about this. People who judge others have low self esteem and they're not really happy because they don't know what happiness is. So they have they feel a need to put down other people. That woman is happy. She has a boyfriend who's younger than her who finds her attractive and they're still getting it on. Yeah, they're bumping chichis as they say on the res. If you're from the res, you know what that means. Yeah, they're bumping chichis. Shoot. They're knocking boots. Yeah, more power to them. Yeah, she's still having fun with a young man. That's cool. I think that's cool myself. And I'm not going to judge it. Hey, if she's happy, more power to her. It shows you she's happy. And this Lakota guy is jealous because he's not happy. He's not getting any. You know what I mean? He's not knocking boots with anybody. He's not bumping chichis with anybody. So he's jealous because this woman is probably the same age as him and she's still getting some. Yeah? She's still getting her groove on and he's not. He's probably can't. So he's jealous. So he has the need to put her down. That's low self esteem. That's not healthy. That's not traditional. Yeah? She wants to live that way. That's her choice. Who are we to judge? And for you Christians out there, remember what Jesus Christ said: Judge not, lest ye be judged. And also, he who is without sin can cast the first stone. Even Jesus agrees with what I say. Who are we to judge this lady? Who are we to say that she's wrong? She's happy. She's got a man. She's still getting it. Wow. Give her a standing ovation. More power to her. That's what I say. I applaud her. Even though I don't like hickeys, I applaud her. Yeah, that's her business. That's her business. It's not our business. But this Rosebud guy, he's jealous. Yeah, he thinks that this is he has to put her down, and he's bringing his shit on Facebook, and all he's really doing is promoting her, and most of the women are putting him down. They're like I said, a lot of women are telling him, hey, if you don't like it, so what? Why bring your shit to Facebook? If you don't like it, keep your opinions to your goddamn self. Her business is her business. It's not your business. You're not the judge here. So the women are really putting him in his place, and I like that. Yeah, I really like that. Mister, you act all traditional. Why aren't you up at Cannonball, North Dakota, fighting with the water protectors of the water? Why aren't you up there? If you really think you're a warrior, you should be up there instead of bitching about a woman with hickeys, wasting your time on something that's not even important. You're not a man. You're a coward. You're jealous because this woman is the same age as you and she's still getting it. More power to her. See what I mean? I think that's cool. I really like that. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna take a music drink now. I really thought that was an interesting post, and that we can learn from that. Yeah, that's why I wanted to discuss this so I can show you, what duality is, and how you know people with low self-esteem think, and let me say one final thing on this. This man is in his 60s, okay? This man is in his 60s, and he has a daughter that's 6 years old. No, 5. Think about that. This man is probably 65 years old, and he has a daughter that's 5 years old. Who is he to talk about a woman in her 60s with a hickey on her neck? Who is he to judge her when he himself was obviously 60 years old and he got some woman pregnant, and now he's raising this daughter himself? 65 years old. He's got a 5-year-old daughter. Who is he to judge? You see what I mean? He needs to get his act together because he's a hypocrite.